So this is just a little quick review of what we've been talking about. So remember in the beginning we talked about lipids. They're substances that don't dissolve in water. We're going to review triglycerides again real quickly and then move on to phospholipids and sterols. So triglycerides, remember, are composed of a glycerol molecule and fatty acids. Usually 3 fatty acids, triglycerides. There are 2 types of fatty acids, saturated fatty acids or saturated fats, or unsaturated fatty acids, unsaturated fats. Unsaturated fats are further broken down into monounsaturated fatty acids, MUFAs. We didn't really talk about that, but that's a term for it, an acronym. And polyunsaturated fatty acids, or PUFAs. Omega-3 fatty acids, polyunsaturated fatty acids are further broken down into the types that we cannot make in our body and need to be consumed in our diet. We know that we're consuming too many omega-6 fatty acids, which is the linoleic acid, ARAs, and GLAs. Still good for us, but we are consuming way too much in processed foods. Omega-3 fatty acids have some health promotion and disease preventing properties. So omega-3 fatty acids, the EPA and DHA is what we need more of for healthy fats. So good sources of fats are tree nuts, but remember they're very nutrient dense, so a lot of calories in them. We don't need a lot of them. Avocados, olive oil, canola oils, and other tropical oils. Walnut oils and other nut oils, flaxseed and flaxseed oils. Grass-fed beef and dairy products are good sources of healthy fats, and those are leaner cuts of beef and lower fat dairy sources. Wild caught fish and pasteurized raised eggs have a higher omega-3 content. Those are not the same as cage-free eggs. So those were triglycerides. We're going to talk about phospholipids. So phospholipids are present in small amounts and important in food and in the body because they allow water and fat to mix. So the structure supports its function because it allows one end of the molecule to be soluble in fat. You see that in this picture here, where the other end is soluble in water. So like a triglyceride, a phospholipid such as this lecithin molecule shown here has a backbone of glycerol, but it contains 2 fatty acids rather than 3. You can see that, it's very apparent. Instead of the 3rd fatty acid, a phospholipid has a chemical group containing phosphorus called a phosphate group. And the fatty acids, the tails on the one end of the phospholipid molecule are soluble in fat, while the phosphate containing region at the other end, the head, is soluble in water. So remember, phospholipids can mix both in water and fat. They're present in small amounts in food and in the body. The most common phospholipid is lecithin. That's that molecule you were just looking at. It's made in the liver, so it's non-essential. It's a major constituent of cell membranes, and lecithin is used in foods as an emulsifier. So here's a picture talking about the importance of phospholipids in the components of cell membranes. They form, you can see, a double layer sheet called the lipid bilayer. And by orienting the water-soluble phosphate-containing heads towards the aqueous or water environment inside and outside the cell, and the fatty acid tails towards each other to form the lipid layer center. Here's a picture is phospholipids. We know that they act as emulsifiers because they can surround droplets of oil, allowing them to remain suspended in a watery environment. So the salad dressing shown here does not contain an emulsifier, so it separates into layers of oil and vinegar, and you've got to shake it before it's poured on your salad. But lots of salad dressings are emulsified, so they don't separate when they're left standing. So that was phospholipids. We talked about triglycerides in regards to lipids. So what about sterols? Well, the best known sterol is cholesterol, okay, cholesterol or cholesterol. It's needed in the body because, but our liver makes it, so it's non-essential in the diet. But more than 90% of all the cholesterol in the body is found in cell membranes, so it's important. And it's also part of the myelin sheaths and the insulating coating on many nerve cells. The structure shown here, the cholesterol structure, illustrates the 4 interconnected rings of carbon atoms that form the backbone structure that is common to all sterols. Sterols can be found in plants. Plants cell sterols, and they help form the cell membranes of plants. And in animals, as I talked about, we see cholesterol versus plant sterols, and it's made in the liver, or it's non-essential, and it's used to make cell membranes, myelin sheaths, vitamin D, bile acids, cortisol, testosterone, and estrogen. So cholesterol is important in our body. Dietary cholesterol, I always say when I'm teaching people how to reduce the amount of cholesterol in the diet, if it has a liver, it has cholesterol. So you can see, we know that the liver makes cholesterol, and here we see it's in beef, so cows, pork, pigs, chicken, fish, eggs, because those come from chickens, and chickens have liver, and dairy as well, because dairy comes from cows and they have a liver. So plant products, fruits and vegetables, don't have cholesterol naturally in their original unprocessed form. So here's a graph showing the amounts of cholesterol in certain foods. So you can see things like sunflower seeds, peanut butter, almonds, lentils, no cholesterol. Eggs, we see have the egg yolks and organ meats such as liver and kidney. Liver, that makes sense, that's where it's made, and kidney are high in cholesterol. Leaner red meats and skinless chicken are low in total fat, but still contain some cholesterol. And cholesterol is not found in plant cell membranes, so even high-fat plant foods like nuts and peanut butter and vegetable oils do not contain cholesterol. So let's talk about how phospholipids and cholesterol are similar and different, and what is an example of a non-essential nutrient. So both phospholipids and cholesterol are found in animal cell membranes and are used to make other materials in the human body. Cholesterol and omega-6 fats are 2 examples of non-essential nutrients so far in this chapter. Next, we're going to move on to lipid digestion, absorption, and transport in the next section.